Good afternoon. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina, and today I'm going to redo a video I did about 4 years ago on the Sigma 150 to 600, how to set it up and why I own this lens. So come along and enjoy this adventure. So let me talk about the basic design of this lens here. This is the sport version of the Sigma 150 to 600. It comes into two versions, the contemporary and the sport. Now the contemporary is much lighter than this, but it does give up some stuff too. It is a 96 millimeter on this end. This is like 106 millimeters, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a big deal. The sport is made out of a lot of metal. The contemporary's got a lot of plastic. The sport has a much bigger foot. The contemporary has a much smaller foot. Overall, I would say that this lens is a very good lens for wildlife photography. It is water resistant, something like that, where this contemporary isn't. But all that adds weight. This weighs about 2 pounds more than the contemporary does, so if weight is an issue for you, you don't want to get this lens here, because this lens is heavy at 6.5 pounds. Now, some of the things that I can tell you that over my ownership over the last 6 years is I had to send it back to Sigma twice. Each time I sent it back to them, it cost me about $300, and it's been about 3 years since I sent it back to Sigma, so overall this lens has held up very, very well. Now, there's a few things that I am not happy about this Sigma at all, is that it does not natively connect with the new RF system on the Canon mirrorless camera. To get this to work with this lens here, I had to buy this adapter right here so that I can adapt the RF system to the EF system that's on this Canon lens. Now, there is a rumor on the internet that Sigma's in the process of making a lens that will natively connect to this, but right now I have to use this connector, which is just another link in the chain of issues that you can have. Overall though, I am very, very happy with this lens here. It is a tank. It is very durable. It's with me a lot of the time. Almost every day I have this lens with me. When I go walking in the woods, this lens is with me. It's in my backpack, usually in the back of my car. It's always with me. And considering the amount of abuse this lens gets, it is held up like a tank. I'm going to talk about now the real reason why you probably came here. Now, this camera has 5 settings on it. The first thing I want to talk about is the lock. The lock on this lens here is so that you can lock it at certain places. But again, with the Sigma lens, you can zoom, just grabbing onto the lens and pulling it in and out like this. You can use this ring, and then you can lock it in place. The one thing I really like about this lock is if you're excited and there's something you want to photograph and it's locked right now and you want to change the focal length, you just start turning and the focus comes off. If you were to bang the lens while it's in lock, the lock disengages so that the lens is in locked in position, potentially getting damaged. Now, the second setting that I want to talk about, or the top one, is focus. Now, it comes in 3 settings: autofocus, MO, and MF. Autofocus is obvious, it's auto-focusing. MO means that it will autofocus and it will allow you to manually control the focus. I gotta tell you, I did an update to this lens here, and I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Now that I can manually focus with it in AF mode, and then manual focus would be, as the name implies, complete manual focus. For the most part, I do keep this on auto because I can manually take control of the focus, but that's where I normally do it, and that's only because I did an update, and I don't know if the new ones come like that, but I'm sure they do. The second one I want to talk about is the focus distance. This is, so you have full, you have 10 millimeters to infinity, and you have 2.6 millimeters to 10 millimeters. Now, this is a very useful tool. If you're in a situation, like you're talking about Africa here, if you're in Africa and you're photographing large megafauna, well, you're not going to get 10 meters away from that animal. You're going to be further than that. So you don't want the lens focusing from 2.6 millimeters to 10 millimeters. You want it only to focus from 10 to infinity. This will speed up how much time the lens will focus. The opposite is true. If you're in a situation here and you're photographing hummingbirds and you're at a feeder and you're just waiting for them to come, having this focus 2.6 to 10 meters will make the camera focus a little bit faster. It's basically telling the lens, ignore everything that's not within my zone of distance. The next one is, it's labeled OS. This is optical stabilization, and it comes in 3 sets: off, 2, and 1. I have it set to 1. Actually, Sigma has a really good paper on the optical stabilization on their website and which one to use. I use 1 almost all the time, but you can probably read that and decide for yourself. I really don't think for the most part it makes that much difference. And the last one I want to talk about is customization. Now, to do customization, you have to buy this puck that attaches to the lens and then attaches to your computer so that you can you download software and you can edit the customizations. And it does basically the same thing as these switches does. It allows you to limit how much aperture, how much you change the aperture, how deep the field of focus is. It allows you to do some other settings that are very important here. And this is a great way that if you're in a situation, you're going to be in a blind and it's going to be focusing on certain things, you say, okay, I'm going to use setting C1, C2, and use that. This is a great way to do it. One last thing I want to talk about is it has a knob here, and this knob here is for locking down the rotation of this camera here, so that if you're looking through it, you can rotate the camera like this here. Now, for the most part, I have it open all the time. I never close that down. And the last thing I want to talk about, the foot, and it has 2 straps on 2 places where you can put straps on the lens. Somebody like my size here, I have a problem with this because most of the straps aren't long enough to have the camera hang comfortably off my shoulder and still be on this thing here. And the foot on this one is, on this particular brand, is not set up for this gimbal head. I had to put a foot on it, but this is made out of metal, and I'm very, very happy with that. Overall, I am very happy with this lens here, so if you're thinking about buying it, this is a good lens to get. I'm hoping this video really helped you. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy. I want to thank you for watching.